So lots of leaks have come out today, rumours, speculation about the Manchester United dressing room, which I can confirm is in absolute chaos. Some players aren't happy with other players, some players aren't happy with the manager, and there is a problem in the dressing room. But the thing is, a lot of these leaks aren't new. A lot of these leaks are old information that's just being released now because it's a very negative time around United. Now, a leak that's come out that's caught everyone's attention is a leak about a fallout between Raphael Varane and, of course, Ten Hag. Everyone's shocked this is Raphael Varane. Surely he wouldn't be a guy in the dressing room causing problems. Now, I can confirm he was dropped for tactical reasons versus Manchester City, which caused confusion in the dressing room to why Varane would be dropped. And a lot of players were questioning Ten Hag's decision to drop Varane in a game like that. And there definitely is a clear lack of communication. But the most recent report coming out is that Varane was not at training on Tuesday, the day before the Newcastle game. And in fact, apparently he wasn't ill. He missed the Newcastle game because Ten Hag maybe banished him. Now, there's a few question marks about him being dropped for the City game and the fact he wasn't present at Newcastle. It's causing a lot of speculation. Now, Yo inside United has been very accurate with his leaks. Every time he says something about a player being injured, it gets confirmed by The Athletic 2 days later. I won't lie to you, this Yo Insider United account hasn't really got anything wrong that he's leaked. If he's leaked, information about players, injury, who's returning, team news, every time he has been correct. So he has built up some credibility as having information and leaking it before anyone else on United, which is why a lot of people are concerned. If this was just some random ITK account that kept telling us we were getting Qatar, we wouldn't look at this twice. But this is an account that definitely has a source to United and information. And they're saying there's something more to this Varane situation. They're saying, he's not happy about something. But what is Varane not happy about? Is there some kind of fallout between Varane and Ten Hag? Well, that's what we're going to get into in today's video. We're going to discuss everything we know about the leaks and stuff going on inside United. Now, as you can see, everyone was kind of reacting like Varane is the last person who would get in a fight with Ten Hag. Something's wrong in the dressing room. This doesn't add up because there's a lot of players at Man United that I think have a bad attitude, and Raphael Varane is not one of them. He's a top professional, in my opinion. So even if he was dropped for tactical reasons for Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, that makes no sense. I think Varane is the type of guy to get on with it and not cause issues. Ten Hag apparently said that Varane was ill, didn't he? He did say Varane was dropped for tactical reasons, and that is true. I've looked into that. That information is true. Ten Hag or Samuel Lucas and a lot of people reported that Varane was ill. And that was reported by United sources. So right now I'm going to go with the conclusion that Varane was ill because that's been reported by actual United sources. However, we do want to dive more into this story. But it doesn't make sense. And, you look at it and go, how can you fall out of Varane? If this is true, this is very worrying for Ten Hag because Raphael Varane is one of those players that's won a lot. He's very experienced. He's not a troublemaker. If this is true, it's very worrying stuff. But the question mark is it true? The United stand after this report said they can confirm that Varane was ill because of illness. Varane missed the cup game because of illness. Samuel Lucas said when the lineup was released last night that Varane is ill, and a lot of people and sources around United have said that Varane is ill. So unless Fabrizio Romano, someone credible, or we get more information on this, I'm going to act as if Varane was ill for now, just because when things are negative at United, people do like to jump on speculation, like there was a fallout with Ten Hag and Mason Mount. That wasn't true. People do like to jump on speculation. Now, Insider United has been accurate about everything they've released in the past, but I would wait and see if journalists speak about this story because it could just be speculation. Let's spread some negativity about Ten Hag because let's be honest, everyone likes Varane. He hasn't put a foot wrong this season. If Varane's fallen out with Ten Hag, and people are thinking that Ten Hag can't maintain a relationship with Varane, people are going to turn on Ten Hag because of that. So the media that want to get Ten Hag sacked, the people around the club that want to get Ten Hag sacked would maybe leak that kind of information to put Ten Hag in a worse position. Now, I always think with the media, with Manchester United, they do try and create a negative environment. And I actually do want to get into what the United Muppeteer said on this situation. But, there is the question mark, is the media trying to sack Ten Hag? That's something they like to do with United managers. We dove into this information earlier in my live stream, but one of the biggest problems at United, and these leaks are in fact true by TalkSport, is that players weren't happy on pre-season about the intensity, the amount of games. They felt like they weren't getting enough rest. They felt like Ten Hag was overworking them, and that was a problem in pre-season, which they think contributed to injuries. Now, the big question mark around this is this information has been known by the media since summer, and they're only choosing to release this information now. Same with the luck curse report. You know, it's been known that players at United, Sancho, Anthony, and other players at United feel like Ten Hag gives favouritism to his signings. But why are they releasing this information now after a loss rather than, you know, in pre-season at the start of the season? It's because things are negative at United. The media want to pile on that negativity to put that pressure on Ten Hag and get people to turn on Ten Hag. Now, the United Muppeteers spoke in a lot of detail about the leaks, and United Muppeteers have been pretty spot on and accurate with all the information they have released regarding United leaks, and they even spoke about the Varane situation. So the United Muppeteers confirmed that these leaks have been known since June, July time. The media just wait for the right time to release them, because if they got a reason to release them, things are negative, people are anti-Ten Hag, it can just add fuel to that narrative. And unfortunately, the media can be a very toxic place. They said a lot of players returned from pre-season unfit, but some players got treated more harshly for others for it. And this is the reason behind the Ten Hag favouritism story. They said when certain players returned to pre-season, and they actually said the ones that were getting injured returned to pre-season unfit, but didn't seem to be as punished as much as their Ten Hag's favourites, and they weren't put under such an intense training regime because they were Ten Hag's favourites, then other players that returned to pre-season unfit, Ten Hag had a much stricter approach with them, which has caused a bigger problem, and that's obviously been reflected with the Sancho situation. It's felt that there is favouritism because some of Ten Hag signing some of his favourites, you know, they weren't fit really for pre-season, but they didn't get punished. Whereas other players that were unfit for pre-season, they got put on an intense training regime. And some people feel that Ten Hag signings, particularly Anthony is the most notable one, which, you know, is looking like a big waste of money, gets left off the hook when he's not good enough, when he's unfit, but players like Sancho don't. And a lot of this can be explained with the Sancho situation. And I'm not saying that Sancho was right. You know, Sancho had reasons to feel that way, and players might back him on that. But the way Sancho handled the situation was disgraced and immature. But they did say there is truth about the favouritism thing that has caused a problem. But the media wait for the right time to release this. The favouritism thing's been a problem for months, but they're only going to release this now that we're losing. So it makes the league feel 10 times worse than it is. You know, these problems happen at football clubs all the time. Man City have probably got situations like this, but because they're always winning, these leaks won't come out and this information is kind of irrelevant. You know, and they said, look, there is also concerns over training and lack of time, downtime, which is not new. They said, you know, it is true, the reports that, you know, they felt that they should have had more downtime in pre-season, that they're always training so intensely, and that's contributing to injuries, and they're not getting a rest. You know, they said that's true. They said that players feel they should be doing more tactical work and less intense work because it's contributing to injuries. But they said sometimes these leaks aren't coming from the players. They say these leaks sometimes come from independent parties. So a lot of these leaks apparently aren't caused by the players. And the United Muppeteers went in on some of the problems, and they said that Sancho apparently is not the only player annoyed about favouritism. However, the way Sancho acted was completely out of line. But some players do agree why Sancho acted the way not acted the way he did, but is annoyed the way he is. But they don't agree with how Sancho's acted. They said that some of Ten Hag signings have not been good enough, but Ten Hag still plays them, which is annoying players. And obviously, Anthony is the most notable one of that. They said that it's not all Ten Hag's fault that Sancho's attitude has been really poor, but potentially the lack of communication and favouritism has fueled sort of Sancho's anger in that situation. They said that the recruitment has been awful, and that's caused a problem. And the players that Ten Hag has recruited, he continues to play even though they're not good enough, which has caused a problem. And they did say, look, it is true, Varane was left out the derby for tactical reasons, which left a lot of people in the dressing room questioning Ten Hag. Why would he leave Varane out for you know, tactical reasons? No one understands that. I can't understand that. And, you know, there is some truth in some speculation around that he was dropped for tactical reasons. But all the sources are saying he was generally ill. There's no issue with Ten Hag, which we're yet to see, because the fact that he was dropped for tactical issues, you think, has he had a fallout with Ten Hag or something? And one of the biggest problems that seems to be going on in the Man United dressing room, the Muppeteers said, was the lack of communication between the manager and players about what he's trying to do. And they said that this was a very similar situation to what happened with Ollie in his final season. Ten Hag tries to change things and adapt the way you play in his second season. Essentially, the players can't understand what he's trying to do, and they feel like instead of communicating with the players, instead of Ten Hag communicating with the players about what they need to do, the players feel like he's just working on fitness, intensity training, which is causing injuries, rather than sort of sitting down and talking about tactics. They kind of said it's a similar situation to Ollie. Ollie in his second or third season technically wanted to try and change things up, be a little bit more attacking, play a different way. He had this idea, but he couldn't communicate with the squad properly to execute this idea. And that Ten Hag's in the same situation. Ten Hag has this idea about how he wants to play, but he's not communicating that well with the team, and the team just do not understand what Ten Hag is trying to do or how he wants to play. Essentially is how the team feel, reportedly. He's not communicating with them. And just like Ollie was, he's trying to tell them what he wants to do, but the players don't get it. So part of it, maybe Ten Hag needs to communicate better, but another part of it is this happened with Ollie. As soon as a manager tries to change something or change the way we play, the players don't seem to understand it. They seem to get confused, and because they get confused and they cannot execute what the manager's trying to do, eventually the players give up, throw the manager under the bus and get them sacked. So big problem with the players here. And, the positive is there seems to be absolutely no desire among those at United to replace Ten Hag just yet. It's going to cost 15 million to sack Ten Hag. United don't really have that kind of money, so I do think Ten Hag will be given a few more games at least. I will say this, 5 years ago today, we were in the exact same position under Jose Mourinho. We played Liverpool at Anfield December 17th, and Mourinho got sacked December 18th. We go to Anfield December 17th this year, so if we're going to call for Ten Hag to be sacked, I'd put my money on December 18th. But I don't want Ten Hag to be sacked. I think he needs to communicate better with the players. I think he needs to do more tactical work instead of intense training to maybe, one, stop tiring out the players, and two, avoid injuries. And there's definitely things that Ten Hag can improve with on communication. But again, as said by a lot of people inside the club as well, there's a lot of problems that are very deep that actually sacking the manager isn't going to solve a lot of the problems at United. We're not going to get miraculously better. Ten Hag will need to communicate better, but a lot of these players are troublemakers. They give up, they don't try, which is a big problem. But it looks like Ten Hag's job is safe for now. And, there has been a big recruitment change, which could be one of the problems for Ten Hag, actually. So something that's been spoken about at United is basically when Woodward and Judge were here, they would basically choose all the signings, not consult the manager, which was a big problem. Woodward and Judge were like, okay, we'll sign this player, that player, screw what the manager wants, we're doing it, which was a big problem. But Arnold and basically Murta have taken this complete different direction and have given Ten Hag all the freedom. But Ten Hag should be focusing on coaching his tactics, coaching the players, solving the dressing room issues, rather than recruitment and who we sign. Ten Hag's allowed to say in who we sign. He should be allowed to approve who we sign and sell. It shouldn't be like what Woodward and Judge did, where they just go out and get the players. But, Ten Hag's almost had too much power with signings. And this apparently has relayed in dressing room problems, in the sense of, because Ten Hag knows Anthony really well, he knows this player really well, and he wanted Mason Mount, and because he knew the player, Ten Hag's bringing in players that he's kind of known or spoken to or had a relationship with. They're saying that he almost has that favoritism towards them when they come to the club, and that is essentially what is causing a little bit of a divide in the dressing room, just like the Ollie days. And the kind of situation with Ten Hag right now, it seems to be a repetition of what's going on with Ollie. The leaks, the favoritism, the players turning on him. And look, there's definitely things Ten Hag needs to fix, but I'm going to back Ten Hag because I think these players are a problem. I think if you sack Ten Hag, what can you do? Bring him Fletcher to the end of the season? I don't think it's going to get better, but there's a lot of problems at United, and it has been said by many people, a lot of problems aren't going to be solved by sacking the manager. Ten Hag needs to stop favouritism, particularly towards players that he signed. He needs to reward players on form. Ten Hag needs to do more tactical work and training, even if players struggle to learn it because the fitness work isn't going down well. And Ten Hag needs to go with his long-term plan and essentially stick with it. Because at the end of the day, I think the season is over just because all our opponents are really good, and maybe we can turn it around, but I don't trust these players to turn it around. But I think, let's say we finish 8th. If we finish 8th and we can see Ten Hag implementing a style of play, we can see Ten Hag implementing a plan, we can see what Ten Hag wants to do, and we can see the players gradually learn that and improve, we're happy with backing Ten Hag in the summer after finishing 8th. But if we continue to play this crap where there's no style of play, no one knows what Ten Hag's trying to do to the rest of the season, it doesn't matter where we finish, Ten Hag should be sacked. And I think the big question mark now for Ten Hag is, you know what? Just relay to the players, communicate with them what you want to do more tactical work with them. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't suit the players at this club. Make them know how you want to play. You wanted to bring in Frankie de Jong. You wanted to bring in Martinez. You brought in Anthony, possession-based Ajax players. You're now playing counter-attacking football. Teach them, skip the extra intense training sessions. Teach them about how you want to play. That is what I'd say to Ten Hag. Teach them, show them how you want to play, okay? And drop players if they're playing badly, even if they're players you like more, and play the youth. I think that is the way he turns it around, because he's losing the dressing room, and it's very hard to turn it around when you lose the dressing room. We saw that happen with Ollie, but I know when Ollie was sacked, we didn't get better, even when Rangnick came in. I know if Ten Hag gets sacked, we haven't got the money to bring someone in, and an interim's not going to make things better. So we've got to hope Ten Hag turns it around, and hopefully he does. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.